Welcome to File Management 101. In this segment we're going to have a look at your file manager, and we're going to look at why you need a file manager, and we're also going to look at how you can navigate through it very briefly, and some of the defaults the Windows set up, and we're going to change those defaults. So let's get going. What you see in front of you is my desktop. I keep my desktop absolutely clean because I just like to see those images. If you open an application, it covers everything that's on your desktop, and then you have to minimize the application to find those files. And instead, you could put them in your file manager, and they're always available on the taskbar, which is down at the bottom here. You don't quite see it in the video, but you'll see Windows Explorer showing up now, and that is the file manager. It's got an icon that looks like a folder. So now, when I open that up, I get this window with two sides on it. Well, if you like, two windows. On the left hand side we have the folder pane, and on the right hand side we got the file pane. It defaults to showing you the libraries. Libraries are rather useful tools to be able to collect your data into various different folders that are collected under a heading, and you can access them with shortcuts. So more on those later on. Right now we're going to look down here and we see computer, and the computer is what you have in front of you, and you will have probably just C drive in there. You might have a name if you've chosen to put a name in there. I have. Bossy tells me that this machine takes over the world. So now let's have a look at how we can find what's on the C drive. You will notice a little triangle to the left, and if you click on that, it will expand the contents of the C drive. All drives are lettered, A, B, C, D, F, G, etc. You'll notice down at the bottom here I've got one called D, and I have another one here that's attached called F, and that's an external hard drive. The drive letters used to start at A and B, and A and B represent the floppy drives, and they've gone the way of the dinosaur, but there are some machines that are still around, so there will always be room for A and B on floppies. But C is your hard drive, C:, always. So now let's have a look at what you might have. You may not have the configuration that I have here, but one thing you will have is a folder called Users. This is your user account. When you bought the machine, you set up a user account, and if you didn't, somebody else did. It was set up because that's the only way that Windows can work. And if you don't have one in there, you might have something called User, or somebody might have been generous enough to have put your name in there. Hopefully they will have set it up, or you will have set it up with a password, which will protect your data that's in there and allow you to get in there and nobody else, which is a good thing. Anybody who uses the computer can have an account on this computer, and as you can see, I've got three. Well, there's one called default and there's one called public. Those are common. If I go into somebody else's account, then generally, come on, there we go, I don't have permission to get in there, so I can't go in. But when I go into my own, because I logged on, I can go in here. So having a password on your computer is a way of protecting your files, and anybody and everybody who uses the computer can have their own profile, their own password. So now, in your profile folder, you will find things like my documents, my music, my pictures, my videos, and various other things. I've set a few extra things up, and I don't actually use the My Documents folder, but it's a default of Windows, and so it's there. I use Doc instead, and I've renamed the My Documents folder. You can't actually get rid of it. So now we have a look at what's in here, and we see that there are folders, the yellow, and there are files. These are files here. And the files will have a name like Arthur or fax header or storm damage. You may not have this configuration when you look at this at first. So what I would suggest you do is go up to the top right here and click the pull down menu. And you will see that I'm set at details. You probably are set at, oops, icons. I would strongly recommend that you go in and you set this to details. The reason for that is, first of all, it takes up a lot less room. And secondly, you can see at a glance your folders. You can see when they were made. And you can also see the files at a glance and when they were made. Because you're going to be looking more at a title. The only time that it's really effective to look at files in the icon view is when you're looking at pictures. Such as here in this particular folder, if I look at icons, then I can actually see the pictures, and rather than just seeing the file dates. So let me go back to users, me and doc. Now, Windows defaults to not showing an extension on your file name. Every file name has an extension. It'll be called arthur.doc or .docx or .xls. And it's kind of difficult to tell just from looking at it whether this is a document file or a spreadsheet file. And I have to go over here to figure out what it is. If I want to know all of those things, I can change that default. And how we're going to change it is up here in Tools. Now, there are two ways in Windows 7. There's only one way in Windows XP. Click on Tools, Folder Options, and click on View. Now I'm going to go through that one more time. But this time I'm going to go through Organize. Organize, Folder and Search Options, comes to the same place. View comes to exactly the same place. All right. So whether you use Tools and Folder Options or whether you use Organize and Folder and Search Options, it brings you to the same place. Now, here it says, don't show hidden files and folders. Well, I want to see those hidden files, and I also want to see my extensions. So then I will uncheck the hide extensions, and I will click on Show Hidden Files, and then I will apply that to all the folders on the computer. And then I will go either OK or Apply. Do not use the X to get out of here, or whatever you have done will be lost. So click OK. And now we can see the extensions. So this is great. I now know that this is a docx and this one here is a doc. And there actually is a difference. This has been made in Word 2003 and this has been made in Word 2007 or 2010. So now, having got our extensions and we can see the hidden files and folders, and in fact when we go back to users here, oh look at this keeps collapsing on me. I got to do one more thing to prevent that. I got to go to Organize, Folder and Search Options, and right here it says Show All Folders and automatically expand to current folder. And I'm going to do that because I want those to stay open when I go into other folders instead of collapsing again. So now when I go to Doc, or when I go to My Documents, or when I click on any one of these things here, I should be able to see the hidden files and folders. In fact, I can. There's one there, it's NG. So now, What have we done here? We've opened up the file manager. Now, if you're in Windows XP, you're probably wondering where to go because it's not on the taskbar. In fact, if you do a right click on the start button, or if you click on the start button and go to My Computer or Computer in the start menu, I can't actually do that with the video running because the video will just kick off if I do that. That opens that up, and you can have a look at Bossy C, or C drive. It's not going to be called Bossy, but it'll be C drive. And then go to Users, or and then look at your profile. Now, let's add a folder to your profile folder. And let's stop there now, and we'll add the folder in a minute. Oh, it's 15.